The air in Blatten was crisp. Alpine serenity reigned. Then a sound, a rumble, deep, ominous. It grew. It was the sound of a world ending. The mountain, a stoic giant, began to move. Not rock, but ice. A colossal river of frozen fury. It was May 29th, 2025. A date now etched in sorrow. The unimaginable, as the mayor would later say, had arrived with breathtaking speed. A day that began with ordinary Swiss charm ended in an icy tomb. This was nature's power, raw and unforgiving, displayed in its most terrifying form. No one truly expected this, not on this scale. Warnings perhaps, murmurs of an unstable glacier. But the reality? Far worse. The glacier, a landmark, a part of their identity, became the harbinger of doom. It carved, not a piece, but a monstrous section. Tons of ancient ice, rock and debris, a torrent of destruction. It plunged towards the unsuspecting village below. The speed was terrifying. There was no time to think, only to witness, or to flee if luck was on your side. The peaceful valley transformed into a scene of utter devastation. The initial moments were pure chaos, a white tsunami, engulfing everything. Homes, roads, dreams. The village of Blatten, moments before a picturesque haven, vanished, swallowed whole. The power was immense, biblical. It reshaped the landscape in minutes. What took centuries to build, nature erased in a heartbeat. The silence that followed the roar was perhaps even more chilling, a silence heavy with loss. A silence that spoke of lives irrevocably altered, of a community buried under a frozen shroud. The beauty of the Alps had shown its cruel, indifferent face. This was not a gradual slide, it was an explosion. A sudden, catastrophic failure. The ice, stressed by warming temperatures, finally gave way. A stark reminder. The climate is changing, the mountains are restless. What was once considered permanent is now fragile. Blatten became a symbol. A tragic testament to these shifting realities. The world watched, horrified, as a jewel of the Swiss Alps was brutally erased. The scale of it was hard to comprehend, a nightmare made real, the full impact yet to be truly counted. Blatten, a name that once evoked images of tranquil beauty, nestled deep in the Valais region, surrounded by towering peaks. A quintessential Swiss alpine village, its traditional wooden chalets, its narrow winding streets, now a memory, buried under an unyielding blanket of white and grey. The glacier that loomed above, the Allalin, was both a guardian and a threat. Its meltwaters fed the streams, its presence defined the vista, but today its icy heart broke, unleashing a destructive force that defied imagination. The pristine environment became a scene of raw, chaotic power. The extent of the damage is staggering, almost total. The village of Blatten, as it was known, simply no longer exists on the surface. Rescue teams face a daunting landscape. Immense blocks of ice, some the size of houses, twisted metal, shattered wood, all intermingled with a vast debris field. It's a scene of profound desolation. The sheer volume of material that descended is almost beyond calculation. Geologists are on site, trying to understand the mechanics, trying to predict if more will follow. The immediate area remains dangerously unstable. The unimaginable has happened, stated the devastated mayor of Blatten, his voice heavy with grief. Our village, our home is gone. We are in shock. His words echoed the sentiment of an entire nation. Local authorities, overwhelmed but resolute, activated emergency protocols. The priority was human life. But the scale of the collapse presented unprecedented challenges. Access roads were obliterated, communication lines severed. The very geography had been violently altered. The beauty that drew so many to Blatten had become its greatest vulnerability. The mountain's embrace turned into a fatal crush. This was a catastrophic landslide, composed of millions of cubic meters of ice and rock and earth. It flowed like a viscous river, but with the power of 1,000 battering rams. It didn't just cover Blatten, it scoured it, pulverized it. The force was such that structures were not merely buried, but likely disintegrated. The environmental impact is also severe. The local ecosystem, delicate and unique, has been catastrophically disrupted. Rivers choked, forests flattened. The very contours of the valley have been redrawn by this terrible event. Fortunately, a crucial decision saved countless lives. Evacuation orders had been issued days prior, based on unsettling readings from Glacier monitoring systems, increased movement, unusual sounds. Experts had feared a collapse, though perhaps not of this magnitude. The village of Blatten, home to several hundred residents, was largely empty when the ice fell. This foresight, this difficult but necessary call, prevented a far greater human tragedy. Yet, the fear remains. Was everyone accounted for? Were there hikers, visitors who missed the warnings? The uncertainty is agonizing. Search and rescue operations commenced immediately. Despite the immense danger, teams from across Switzerland converged. Highly trained specialists, avalanche dogs, helicopter crews. They face a treacherous environment. The debris field is unstable. Further collapses are a constant threat. The work is slow, painstaking, and heartbreaking. Every probe, every scan, carries the weight of desperate hope and potential sorrow. They are searching for miracles against overwhelming odds. The sheer depth of the ice and debris makes their task monumental. A true race against an unforgiving clock. Local authorities have established a command center nearby, coordinating the complex logistics, providing support to the displaced and to the families anxiously awaiting news. The focus is twofold: to ensure no one was left behind and to assess the full scope of this disaster. Our teams are working tirelessly. A spokesperson for the cantonal police confirmed. The conditions are exceptionally difficult, but we will not give up hope. Every effort is being made. The bravery of these first responders is a small beacon in the overwhelming darkness that has fallen upon this community. The number of people directly affected is significant. Hundreds displaced, their homes gone, their livelihoods shattered, their community erased from the map. The psychological toll is immense. Even those who were safely evacuated are traumatized, witnessing the destruction of their heritage, their shared history. The support systems are kicking in. Temporary shelters, counseling services. But the path to recovery will be long and arduous. For Blatten, the future is now an enormous question mark, buried beneath tons of ice. The human cost, even with the evacuation, is profound. The immediate aftermath is one of shock and rescue, but the long-term impacts loom large. For the community and for the environment, Blatten may never be rebuilt in the same location. The risk is too great. The geological stability of the area is now severely compromised. This single event could mean the permanent loss of a village, a cultural heritage site, a way of life for generations. The displaced residents face an uncertain future. Where will they go? How will they rebuild their lives, their community, from this icy ruin? These are questions with no easy answers. The environmental consequences are equally profound. The glacier itself, a vital source of fresh water, is irrevocably altered. The local hydrology will change. River courses are blocked. New ones may form. The delicate alpine flora and fauna caught in the path of the avalanche have been obliterated. It will take decades, perhaps centuries, for the ecosystem to recover, if it ever truly does. This event is a brutal scar on the landscape, a permanent reminder of the power of nature and the growing fragility of our mountain environments in a warming world. This disaster in Blatten serves as a stark warning. Across the Alps, glaciers are retreating, melting at an alarming rate. This increases the instability of mountain slopes. The risk of such catastrophic events is rising. Blatten is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom of a larger global crisis. Communities living in the shadow of these changing giants face new and terrifying threats. The need for enhanced monitoring, for proactive adaptation strategies, has never been more urgent. The lessons from Blatten must be learned and acted upon quickly. The future of Blatten is shrouded in ice and uncertainty. Will it be remembered only as a tragic footnote in the story of climate change? Or can something be salvaged from the debris? The spirit of the community, though battered, remains. The solidarity shown in these dark hours offers a glimmer of hope. But the path ahead is incredibly challenging. Rebuilding lives, rebuilding trust in the mountains that betrayed them. Blatten's story is one of sudden, devastating loss. A story that underscores the urgent need for respect, for our planet,